Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing great this evening, the 30th day of November 2023. We're almost coming to an end of the month of November. This evening, as you can see from the caption, we are going to learn together on the challenges that the 21st century parent faces and how to navigate through this. We know as parents in the 21st century, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of challenges that come through just by being a parent in this century. Because of the environment, there's been a lot of changes, both digitally and even in our environments. There is a lot of influences, and being a parent also comes in with a lot of challenges, but with God we are going to navigate through this. Today we are going to learn together with even a pen and a paper, so that I'll be jotting down whatever you'll be putting on the chat. So if you have any comment, please don't hesitate to put a chat there, and also don't forget to put a thumbs up on this live, as it's going to suggest this live stream to other people. We're going to start off today by reading a verse from the book of Proverbs 22, verse 6. It says, "Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it." My people, thank you, Jamin, for joining. I appreciate you so much. As we've read from this verse in the Bible, that we as parents, we should train our children in the way he or she should go. And these things are not going to depart from them, even when they are old. So we should not underestimate the power of training a child, because as we have read from Proverbs 22, verse 6, these things that we have trained our children on are not going, it's not in vain. It's something that they are going to have even when they are old. I said today we are going to learn together, we are going to have a conversation together, and I'm sure it will be a very fruitful one. My people, let's dive directly to the challenges that maybe we are facing as parents in the 21st century. First and foremost, a child of the other century did not face a lot of challenges. I think it's because of the exposure to social media, because a child in the past century, they would just learn basically from their parents and from maybe the extended family. But nowadays there's a lot of influence from social media, and because we know that social media is a very powerful tool, it has changed the way we even do parenting as modern day parents. And for that reason, we need to learn the ways with which we can be able to navigate through this, and we try our best as parents so that we train our children in a manner that it pleases human and even it pleases God. Most importantly, in a way that pleases God, because when someone is trained in a way that it pleases God, it will eventually, or it puts that child in a certain path, because the things of God are very clear. There's no shortcuts. So if a child is trained in a way that it pleases God, this child is going to be a child that is going to be even a leader in the next generations, and even they become examples even to their peers, even with the many things that are going on currently. When we train a child in a way that pleases God, it will definitely show. You can even spot in a crowd of 20 children that this child has been trained because of the actions. Because actions is what really separates one from another person. It's just actions. So in a crowd of 20 people, you can even pinpoint a child that has been trained in a way that pleases God. Let's go directly to getting to understand ways with which we can be able to raise our kids in the current world, in the current 21st century. The first thing that we should be doing as parents is boosting our children's self-esteem. You know, from the time a child is born, the parent is the first contact that this child gets contact from. Before they even get contact to the outside world, the first person that a child gets contact to is their parents. So the words and actions of a parent really influences the self-esteem for a child. If you're the kind of a parent who usually scolds your child, you put your child down in everything, maybe your child is lacking in a certain area of their lives, instead of encouraging this child to be the better to be better than what they are at that time, maybe without us knowing, we put the child's self-esteem down. You belittle the child, you scold. Have you ever heard people even calling their children at you with your big head? Imagine, maybe literally the child has a big head. What are you doing to the self-esteem of the child? Maybe your child is not very bright in school, because not all children are the same. But because a child is not getting number one in school, you start referring to your child as mjinga. Ati kwa shule unafungia, you're good for nothing, and you are the parent. You are the parent. You're supposed to be boosting the self-esteem of this child. But what are you doing without maybe knowing or unknowingly? You put the self-esteem of your child down. Instead of encouraging that child that yes, you have performed poorly this term, but I know you are capable, you can be able to perform better than you have done this year. You tell your child that wewe mjinga, mtu mzima kama wewe unakuwa second last in school. But we have not taken our time to analyze even the capability of our children, because not every child is gifted as the other. So as parents, let's boost the self-esteem of our children. Let's not be very fast to just pull them down, but let's analyze situations carefully, because these things, because they are children and they are growing, some of these artful things that we are saying to our children are going to remain in their minds. You might forget, but these children will never forget. I think this is the reason why in the yesteryears of a parent, you see that children are drifting away from maybe a certain parent, and they are maybe moving close to another parent. It's because of the artful words that you uttered as a parent, knowingly or unknowingly. So number one, let's boost our children's self-esteem. It will go a long way. Even if your child was a poor performer, even if your child is a poor feeder, It's not only on performance in school, even some children are slow in eating. This can seem as a very small thing, but it goes a long way. Some children take so long even to take a meal. Others can take meals within 1 hour or within 20 minutes, they are done. But there's another child, even many years after they are born, like even 8 years, 10 years, 11 years, they still eat very slowly. Instead of encouraging this child and finding ways with which you can improve even the appetite of this child, you go around telling this child that you gave birth to, that unakula polepole, mtu mzima kama wewe unakula polepole. Do you think those words are going to make this child to become great? No. The only thing that you are doing as a parent at this point is putting the self-esteem of this child down, and it's going to remain in their mind, and they will never forget about it. They will never forget about it. So please, my fellow parents, let's boost the self-esteem of our children. Even if at some point they go to the outside world and someone tells them anything that is negative, if you've really put your child's self-esteem to this point, nothing that anybody can tell them will make it or will make these children doubt their abilities. Even if an outsider tells them, wewe ni mjinga, wewe ni nini, it's not going to change this child. They know that their mother, these children will know that their father told them they are the best in this world. They know that their father or their parent has put them in this high pedestal, and no matter how the outside world is going to get rough, the kids the kids whose self-esteem has been boosted all along from birth will not even listen to what people are saying. They know what their parents said, and they insist repeating these things to their children. Your children, you're great, you're going to perform well, you are the best among your peers. You are going to be the thing that maybe you want for your child. You be positive, speak positivity to your children. Don't be that kind of a parent who is quick to be throwing negativity, even as a parent, to your own children, instead of boosting their self-esteem. Self-esteem goes a long way. Even if this child goes to a point that they lack something in the world, but if their self-esteem is happier, nothing is going to bring them down. Even to their old age, they will know that they are the best, they are loved, they are going to do wonders, they are going to do great things, even more than you anticipated. It's because of building the self-esteem of your child. Another thing is, don't compare your children. Normally, as human beings, we tend to compare a lot. And because everybody is different, even us as adults, everyone is very different. And when it comes to our children's capabilities are different as well. You will find out that some children are gifted academically, others are gifted in sports, others are even gifted in knitting, others are gifted in baking, others are gifted in cooking, others are gifted in being excellent farmers. But then because we are meant, okay, the way our environment is and how our society is, we only base the success of a child to one thing, which is performing very well academically. And if one of your children or maybe two of your children is wanting in that area, the child cannot breathe again. You'll keep reminding this child that person A, your sister is performing so well in school and you're even embarrassing me. Your brother is so bright in school, he's top 10 in school. Why are you number 100? You start tormenting this child, telling them Do you know the school fees that I pay in school? Do you know the amount of money I pay in school? Do you know the amount of money I use in buying books? You load this child with a lot of stresses as young as they can be. Instead of you as a parent, you trying to find out the uniqueness in your child. It's good as a parent to learn your children more than even the teachers in school. As a parent, you should be able to know that this child A is gifted in this area and child B is gifted in this area. Nobody is the same as the other person. Ati mimi kwa shule, as a parent, now you're speaking to this small child, you're telling them, mimi kwa shule, I was number one all through. It comes even out, it's like you're bragging to this child. But mimi kwa shule, nilikuwa number one from nursery school up to sijui which level. At your brother is performing so well in school. Why are you embarrassing me? You will find that this child will start hating themselves. They will start looking at themselves as a failure even before they reach the age of 8 years. Imagine a child as young as that. They have not even discovered themselves yet. But you, as a parent, you've already diminished the strengths of this child. You go ahead, instead of encouraging them to perform the best in the fields that they are good in, you go telling them, bila masomo wewe ni bure. I know education is key, education is important, education is key to a lot of things, but how about we realize that not everyone is gifted academically. Some people have excelled in other fields, which is not only academics. Some people have excelled in fields that you might even wonder. Some people who did not even perform well in school are now employing graduates who performed so well in school. So why are you looking down, or why are you comparing your child to another? Why are you killing the enthusiasm of your child to explore other options in life apart from pushing them only to one path? We should not zero our minds to think that success only comes from academics. Let our children know that everyone is gifted differently, and if you're not performing in class, you can excel in other fields in life. I think CBC, like if you're in Kenya, there's this new education model for the CBC. CBC came in because someone somewhere realized that not everyone is gifted academically, and every after exams were released and children were being rated according to performance, someone somewhere was very intentional and very particular realized that some children who performed poorly in academics were being put down, and someone somewhere realized that CBC, curriculum based, is it curriculum based, wherever, is the best model that the modern child can be able to go through. So as parents, let's encourage our children to pursue their lives independently. Let's not put everyone in a mnada. You see, the way you're going to wash a ng'ombe in a mnada, they have to follow a certain path so that they can enter into the deep and then they go out wakishakuwa sawa. So don't compare your children. Encourage each child from their strengths and their weaknesses, and with that you will find out that your children are very confident and they're sure of that even though I'm not very good academically, I can be able to excel in another field. How good will that be as a parent? So please, parents, let's tone down on the comparisons that we put to our kids. And this is going to do so much for us as parents and even boost the esteem, CBC competence. Thank you, Jamin. Someone is telling me it's called competence-based curriculum. Thank you so much. Thank you for that clarification. Competence-based curriculum. That is the best thing that came so that those children who are not performing their best in academics have been trained to excel in other fields. Another point that we had said is avoiding belittling comments. Belittling as in ila kuweka mtu chini. There are people who are very good at that, even as parents. Most times because of the expectations that we have for our kids. We dash belittling words coming so fast that we put down our children. You know those comments that you make, that wewe hakuna mahali utaenda, ukiendelea hivi hakuna mahali unaenda. But I wonder how your future will be. Imagine as a parent, you know the words from the mouth are very powerful. So if you are the kind of a parent whose mouth is full of belittling comments, you can't let your child breathe. You're there pushing one belittling comment after the other. Hata kwa shule, teachers are complaining. Parents' Day, I can't even come because there's nothing that I'm coming to see. It's just zeros, zeros, zeros. Belittling comments. Had to look at your age mates. They are 4 years, they are in 2 classes ahead of you. Maybe this child is a slow learner and his age mates are already 2 classes ahead of him. You tell him, mulizaliwa mwaka moja na so and so, and look at him now, he's in grade 8 and you are in grade 6. You belittle this child. You don't know how you're killing the morale of this child. The only place that this child was supposed to run to, even if the world outside was very difficult and very harsh, was to run to their parents. The only place that a child has to run to is their parents. But if that place that a child is supposed to get comfort and even to get assurance from is the same place that they get belittling comments, you're really damaging your child. You're damaging your child, what do we call, psychologically, physically, and even mentally. Without your knowledge, the words you just throw without measuring these words. Before you utter a word, we said, ulimi kiumbe kidogo, matatizo yake ni makubwa. Instead of you as a parent to measure the words that's coming, how about we bless more than we curse? Because some of these words come out as curses, and as a parent you have a lot of the words have a lot of what we call impact on your kids. How about we praise them more than we belittle them? So let's tone down on the belittling remarks. Let our children find a place they will find comfort in us parents. Even when the world outside is so difficult for them, they know when they run to their parents, they will really have a place to even, they have a shoulder to lean on. Let's not push our children so that they go and find, at the end of it, if you continue belittling them, they will not have a choice but to find love outside. And most times it comes from all the wrong places that we never imagined. Hope that point is clear. Another one which is very close to that, let's not condemn more than we compliment. It's related. In a day as a parent, is it possible for you to analyze the amounts of words you've uttered from when your child woke up today? how many times have you complimented your child from the time they woke up in the morning? How many times? And how many, on the other hand, how many times have you condemned your own child from the time they woke up? If you if you put everything in perspective and you analyze the scenario and you find out that you've condemned your child more than you have complimented. Complimenting is praising this child, kuwaweka nguvu, kuwa encourage, that is complimenting someone, telling them you've done so well, you've made me proud. And complimenting is the opposite. Condemning is telling somebody wewe ni bure, hakuna mahali unafika, kila kitu unafanya it doesn't go so well. That is the opposite of complimenting, and it's condemning. And as a parent, if from morning up to this hour, it's almost 5 p.m. in the evening, if at this point you analyze your day's activities and you realize that you've condemned your child more than you complimented them, you really have to do some soul searching at this point. As a parent, you have to go back to the drawing board and find out where the rain started beating you, because you are the parent. But you condemn this child at any possible chance that you get, because in your heart you're saying hakuna kitu mtu ataniambia, hata I'm the parent, there's nothing that you can tell me, mimi ni mzazi. But if your words are condemning more than they compliment, you need to go back to the drawing board. Go back and analyze what your words are doing to this child. And as I said, if you do an analysis of what happened during the day and you find out that the other one is outweighing the complimentaries, you have to enter yourself to a very urgent meeting and correct it as fast as possible for the well-being of your child, for you to be able to navigate through parenting in the 21st century. You really have to look into that. Something which is related to that, you make a point of finding something to praise this child. Even if you find it so difficult to find that particular thing, just try to find anything. Just even tell them when they remove a plate after eating, you just, as a parent, you have to find a way. Find even something small to compliment your child. You can even tell them, if you after eating, take your plate to the sink and maybe wash your plate. If they do even that small thing, I clap for them, tell them, wow, congratulations. You mean you've remembered today to clear the table? Congratulations, my son. Congratulations, my daughter. You've done so well. Find little things to praise your child. It will go a long way. At the end of the day, you are not just looking here, you are looking there. And if your children know that you're very happy with the small things that they do, we don't need to wait for very big things to celebrate our children. Let's celebrate the small things that they even try to do. Maybe you come in from the office in the evening, you find your children reading books. Wow, and it's something that you've never seen before. I tell them, wow, you've done so well. You mean today, what have you read today? What was it about? In fact, because of this sole action that you've done, I'm going to buy you a present. You will not know that will be the beginning of maybe a reading culture in your children, just by telling them that you're very proud of them. Tomorrow when you come back from the office, you will find out that these children will even give you 2 or 3 books that they have read. You have not even insisted so much because you praised something small. If they cleared the table without anyone telling them, and you praise them for this sole achievement that they have done, the next day you will see that child clearing the table, trying to wash their plate, and go even to an extent of wiping the table, just by praising them for that sole action of clearing the table. So, as a parent, let's find little things, very small, minute things that you might see as very minute, and let's use that opportunity to praise our children, to encourage them that, wow, you cleared the table. I know tomorrow you're going even to sweep the floor, and you will be shocked. They'll even mop the floor. You might think these kids are very small, but if you as a parent, you become an intentional parent and you praise your children and you encourage them, the things that they are going to show you will even shock you. Instead of just choosing your words carefully. But if you're fast to throw words, you're very fast to put them down. Even if it's you, when you go to the office, your boss is calling you every way. Will you even have the strength to perform better the next day? No. So, parents, let's learn to praise our children, even for the small things that they have done. We have said we are going to be intentional and we are going to find those small things that they have been able to do, no matter how small it is. Even if they remove clothes from the hanging lines, they brush their shoe, they wake up in the morning, and even before you tell them to brush their teeth, they brush it, they wash their face, praise them all the way. That is your purpose as a parent. Don't underestimate the power that a parent has over their children. Praise your children all the way. But we have not said that when they do something wrong, you don't put them back in line. But let us praise more than we condemn our children. Another point is, let's put communication lines to be very open. You know, if you are that kind of a parent who is very open to listen to their kids, you might get to learn a lot of things that you would not have learned if you are turning a deaf ear. Don't be that parent who, after working so hard in the office, thank you for going to work, you come home, instead of speaking to your kids, telling them, hi, so and so, how was your day? Did you eat well? Did you play? Did you take a bath? Did you read something small? You directly, after taking a bath, you directly go to your phone. You directly go to social media. You try to go to Twitter to get the latest. You want to get latest news from the world, and you've left your kids. You don't know what is going on in your children's life at that point in time. So parents, let's open communication lines. Let your children know that if I have any small thing that is bothering me, I don't need to tell my friends. The first person that I should approach and tell them of this important thing is my parent. Let them know that if I tell my parent this thing, they are not going to judge me. This is now the point that we are going to bring down our judgmental selves. Your child tells you that this and this is going on in my life. Instead of having a sit down with your child, you go ahead and you condemn this child, that ulikuwa unafanya nini ukawekwa coffee, instead of asking them what happened before this thing happened. You know? So let's put communication lines open. From the time they are young, let them know that my parent is always willing to listen to you. Let the children know that my parent is willing to listen to me, no matter how stupid the idea may seem. You know, as parents, at times our children can come to us with things we think those things are stupid. They're very minor. umekuwa mkubwa, you don't need to be telling me those small things. Kuwa mwanaume bwana. And your child now starts to doubt if I can be. Before they tell you something, they really take some time. They tell themselves, is this thing big enough for me to tell my parent? And you know, it's the small things that matter in life. Me, I'm always an advocate of looking at the small things. So instead of a child coming to tell you that this and this is happening in their lives, but because you've created a barrier of the children only telling you the very big things, that hii ni mambo kidogo kidogo, hiyo malizana tu na marafiki zako. They even tell you that someone is bullying them, but unamwambia wewe ni mwanaume, pigana, instead of telling them yes, sorry for what happened, and try to find out how did the bullying come about, so that if it's something that it can be rectified, you can go ahead and rectify this thing. But because you wanted to go and get information on what is happening in CNN, that I must be updated. First thing in the morning, instead of speaking to your children and finding out how their night was, you've rushed to Facebook, you've rushed to YouTube, you've rushed to Twitter, you've rushed to CNN, you've opened your TV, you want to get latest in the news channels, but the children that you have in your own home, you even don't know the latest that is happening in their lives. And a lot of things are happening, especially in this current century that we are speaking of, the 21st century. A lot of things are happening. My advice is, let's have an open communication policy with our kids. Assure your kids that there's nothing small that they cannot tell you. Tell them, assure them that anything that is bothering them, tell them that anything that you feel is outside what I've told you, anything that you feel is not happening as I've told you. If you experience this and this in your life, don't hesitate to come to me. I'll listen to you. I'll sort this issue. Make communication as open as possible. And with this, your child will not hesitate to tell you what's happening. You'll get to learn a lot of things about your child. The things that are bothering these kids. The things that are going, these children are going through. The things that these children are experiencing. How about we encourage them to be open? How about we put these communication channels open? How about we tell our children that you are willing to sort out any issue that they are having at any point and time of their lives? You will find out that your children will not find other people outside to confide in, but they will confide in you in every minute thing that is happening in their lives. And if you attain that level of communication with your child, there's nothing that is going to break it. Even if they come adults, even as they journey through their growth in life, it's really going to cement the relationship that you have with your child. So parents, let's put all communication lines open. Let's reduce the barriers that we have between ourselves and our parents. Let's stop being these parents who depict themselves as these very unavailable parents. Let's not depict our parenting as parenting which is conditional. Let's not put conditions on our parenting. Let's put communication lines open. Another thing, as parents, we are meant, or the society has made us believe that when you are providing the physical needs for our children, that is it. I've provided a place for you to call home, when I've provided food, when I've provided clothing, when I've provided schooling, maybe medical care, I've done my best as a parent, and I've achieved what I was called for to do in this world as a parent. But we forget that as much as we provide the physical needs to our children, there are other needs that we are supposed to also provide for these children, and most of it is psychological and mental. Let's also be particular on the mental wellness of our children, the emotional well-being, the psychological well-being of our children. Have you seen children committing suicide and you wonder, these kids are coming from families that are well off. These children are from families that are doing so well financially. But you still find out that children from those families commit suicide. And you are kept to wonder, what did this child miss? They're in the best schools in town, the schools that you can only dream of, the schools that is only a preserve of a few. They wear the best clothes. They go to these posh places of entertainment. They have everything they need in their homes. They even have TVs in their own rooms. They have laptops. They have iPads. They have PS4 and PS5. They have everything that they need. They wear the best clothes. They eat the best food. But still, you find that these children end up committing suicide, or they even start withdrawing from society. It's because some parents think that if they are providing the physical needs for children, they don't care about the emotional, the mental wellness of their children, the psychological wellness of their children. So parents, let's be a whole-rounded parent. Let's be intentional, and let's cater. Let's provide all the needs that our children are. Let's not focus on one aspect of parenting, which is to provide the basic needs. There's something beyond basic needs. There's a lot of things that go beyond providing basic needs. So let's try to find out the mental state of our children. Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they depressed? Are they stressed? Are they deprived of something that money cannot buy? You know, there are some things that parents can give to their children that money cannot buy. Things like loving our own kids. Money cannot buy love that we give to our kids. So find out if there's something that these children are lacking besides the physical needs that you're providing. Let's not zero in our provision to our kids to center around the provision of basic needs alone. Let's go beyond the basic needs and also check on the mental well-being of our kids. As I said, the mental, the psychological, the emotional, besides us providing the physical needs, of which mostly we call the basic needs. So don't be that kind of a parent who says, kwani ujaenda nimekusomesha, si uko na nguo, si uko na mahali pa kuita nyumbani, si ukikuwa mgonjwa na kupeleka hospitali. Parents, that is not enough. Let's go beyond that. If we want our children to be all-rounded children, let's go beyond dwelling our provisions on the basic needs. There's more than meets the eye. There's more than the things that we can be able to see. Even spirituality, that's another aspect that we should be very concerned as parents on the spirituality of our children. Nowadays, there's a lot of influences that our children get out here. And if you have not grounded your children religiously or spiritually, they can be able to follow anyone that is preaching anything on the way. So let's dwell on all aspects of our children, and let's not base our provisions to our children to the provision of basic needs. As parents, we might think that if you're not able to take your kids to these expensive trips, that you've really failed as a parent. No, you have not failed as a parent. Even the very simple activities that you can engage with your children comes in very important. The small things like cooking together, dancing together. I know our parents, it's rare you get your parent dancing with another parent, but nowadays you can get parents, they put on music and they dance with their kids happily, playing games, that even football with your kids. You become creative. So don't say, I don't have money to take my kids to Masai Mara. I don't have money to take my kids to Mombasa. No, parenting is not tied to money. It can be the little things that you as a parent can identify, and you can be able to engage these things with the children. You know, parenting is a full-time job, and there's no manual. There's no one that can tell you that I have the manual of parenting. No, there's no manual anywhere in the world for parenting, but we just try to find ways that we can improve day and night. And because parenting is a full-time job, as soon as you have a child in this world, know that you are a parent for the rest of your life. You cannot say, when my child is 20, I'll stop being a parent. You can never say that. If my child has an ID, that is the point that I stop being a parent. No. Parenting starts from the day you have a child. From the day a child is conceived, that is when parenting starts, and it will last a lifetime. It's a 24/7 kind of a job. It's a 365 and a quarter days kind of a job. From the day you become a parent to the day you leave this world, you will always be a parent. So you don't have to limit yourself to financial muscle, that if I don't have money, I cannot be a good parent. No, you can find even small activities that your children love to do, and you can be doing those things with your children, and you'll be able to boost your children's well-being. You boost their confidence, you build a relationship with your children. But we are not basing this on money. Don't base the relationship that you have with your children with money. Thank you for joining. Kindly leave a thumbs up and even leave a comment. I'll go through your comments, and I'll really appreciate. Thank you so much for those who have joined. It's a pleasure having you, and we are learning together, because we have said no one has a manual to parenting. And if you have any tips that you can give your fellow parents, we are very open to ideas. Kindly drop a comment on the chat session, and we are going to learn together as parents, because there's no manual. I'll repeat, there's no one who has any manual to parenting, and we learn from each other every other day. So if you have something to say, you have something to assist us parents so that we learn together, don't hesitate to drop a comment on the comment section, and please leave also a thumbs up on this live. Another thing is for you to, as a parent, to set discipline limits and be consistent. There's one thing to set discipline for your children, and it's another thing for you to be consistent. You can tell someone, or you tell your children, that if I want you to behave in this manner, and today You observe what they are doing and everything goes well. Tomorrow, they do that thing, but they do the contrary. And you don't do anything about it. So, as parents, let's set discipline rules and let's be consistent. Let them know that you are not usilegeze kamba. Let's be consistent. If you said something is wrong, that thing remains wrong throughout their lives. If you've told them that you should not be doing this as children, that thing should remain. And if they go contrary to what you said, please don't sit back and say today is a day, it's a Sunday, we must take things slow. Sorry, you say it's a Sunday, let's take things slow. No, there's no off. You will not take any offs in parenting. Let's set rules and let's be consistent. Let them know that even 10 years from now, what my mom or my dad told me remains as such. And if they go contrary to that, don't hesitate to bring back these kids to where they should be. So don't set rules, set discipline standards that you expect from your kids, but then you are not consistent in this. Let's not relent as parents. Let's set rules and we live by it. Let children know that this is a no-no. That my mom will not be proud of me if she learns that I did this and that. My dad will not be happy if he learns that I did this and this. Even in places that you as a parent you are not. Because we cannot be everywhere with our kids. You know, if your children have this standard of discipline, even in places that you are not there, people will even come to tell you, wow, this and this was happening, but your child said no. It's because of the discipline that you set and you became consistent as a parent. Whether the sun is shining or it's at the dead of the night, your children know that this is the boundaries that my parents have set and I should not go beyond this. You know, discipline is something which is gradually, sorry for that, technical issues as I usually like saying, they happen, sorry for that. As I was saying, there are some things that you as a parent currently can attest to this. There are some things that your parents told you when you are growing up. There's some discipline that your parents instilled in you and it's still part of you, even up to this point. I'm sure you can attest to this. This goes to say that discipline and boundaries set by parents and being consistent transcends even to adulthood. You know, even if I am in Australia and my parents are in Leyland, there are things that I cannot do. You know that even if my mom is not on social media, there are some things that I cannot do on social media because your parents told you that you cannot do this. That even if you are in the university and your parents are back at home, you know, even if the crowd is moving this way, when people tell you let's go this way, you take a minute and ask people, why should I do this? A child will be so grounded that they tell their peers, their friends, that my mom, my parents, they might not even say my parents, but they'll just say, because it's something that is in them. It's something that you have cultured in your children. They will be very confident to tell their peers that I cannot do this. Even if because the influence that they get from their peers is so much. But if your children have cultivated self-discipline, no matter where they are. I've just given an example, even if they're in Canada and your mom is in Leyland, you will still say no. Even when you're in the university and it's dark, it's 8 p.m. and people are saying, let's go to somewhere. If your child has self-discipline, that child can go against the grain and say, I can't do it. They don't need to give explanations. They know in their hearts that my mom, my dad told me not to do this. So parents, let's instill discipline to our kids when we still have the time. And let's be consistent. Let's not tire. We said this journey, there's no turning back. There's no shortcut. You know, most times in this current society, people like taking shortcuts. But in parenting, you'll have to be in for it. And we said from the time a child is conceived until your last day on this world, you will become a parent. Even in your 100, when you're 100, you will still be a parent. So let's instill discipline to these children when even they are young. And let's be consistent. Tusilegeze kamba. You know, kids are very clever. They know mom doesn't like this. They will do it maybe to kupima, and then they look at you na kando hivi kuona kama utaongea. If you stand your ground and you say, so and so, I told you not to do this, and you do this every other day, it will tend to stick to these children. The things that you keep repeating, the things that you keep reminding them because they are humans as well, children tend to go astray. But then, as a parent, you take your time, you tell these children, I told you not to do this. Remind them, don't scold. Remind them that I told you not to do this, but you are doing it. Do it over and over again. One day, one time. There's nothing that you put your hands. You remember that song? It's a very good song. The one who says, everything you put your hands, go work. Even the amount of work that you keep in instilling discipline to your children, it will pay. It will pay one day, one time. Don't relent as a parent. Anything you put your hands to do, anything you put your time, anything you dedicate, that everything you think about is your children, the well-being of your children, the discipline of your children, the academics of your children. Even if your child was lacking in a place, and you be consistent as a parent, you will reap the fruits. There's nothing that you will work hard to achieve in this world that you will not reap the fruits. Someone was saying, ukipanda mboga utafuna mboga. Ukipanda mahindi utafuna mahindi. You will not say nimepanda mahindi and then when harvest time arrives unasema naenda kufuna maharagwe. How now? How will you reap beans and you planted maize? So parents, let's not relent. Let's plant this seed. Let's be consistent in parenting. Let's instill discipline and we become consistent in this field. I'm telling you that it's going to pay. When you've retired and you see your children, utasema nimeona mkono wa Bwana. And in your heart you'll be saying, the hard work that I put on my children, I can actually see the fruits. Because there's nothing that you plant that you did not reap. So don't get tired, my fellow parents. Let's not tire. Let's put all our energies, instead of going out there and wasting your time talking unnecessary things with other people, take that time to talk to your child. Take that time to engage in an activity with your children. How many years do you have to stay in that house with your child? Have you ever sat down to know that by the time they are 18, they have even gone to the university? You will not even have that opportunity to stay with them. So this little time that God has given us to have these children under our roof, let's give maximum concentration on this one job that God has given us. Because if you are a parent God has given you the duty, the work to nurture this gift, because children are a gift from God. And if God blesses you with children, He has given you the duty to take care of this gift, because the children do not belong to parents, but then children belong, it's a gift from God, meaning we have been given the opportunity to take care of these kids on behalf of God, because we are all children of God. But now we as parents, we have been given the authority, the blessing, the opportunity to take care of God's gift. And one day you'll tell God, the gift that you gave me, God, this is what I was able to do. One day you will answer before God on what you did with this gift that you are given by God. So let's not tire. Let's not get exhausted along the way, that nimejaribu na nimeshindwa. No, don't tire as parents. Let's do what God expected us to do as parents to our children. Let's correct them. Let's bring them back to where they're supposed to be. Let's encourage them. And one day when God asks you, Priska, what did you do with the gift that I gave you? You will be very confident to say, God, the gift that you blessed me with, this is how your gift has turned out. And God will tell you, asante mwanangu. So let's not relent. Let's be consistent in our parents. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. I'll really appreciate, by the way. And another point that we can dwell on today is, let's establish rules in our homes. Imagine walking into a place that there are no rules. You do what you want to do. You come home the time you want to come. You wake up and you go anytime you want. You eat what you want. You drink what you want. You go to school when you want. You sleep when you want. You study when you want. Imagine living in such an environment. So as parents, let's establish rules in our homes. Let's establish rules that all our children, even us as parents, we adhere to. Because without rules, it will be a long day. I will even start parenting when you are no rules. Kids come home past 8 p.m. Instead of even going an extent of telling them, unatoka wapi saizi? You just allow them to come in as they want. If they want to take a bath or they don't want to take, you don't care. If they eat or they don't eat, you don't care. If they go to school or they don't, the clothes they wear, you don't care. Anything goes. If you don't set rules as a parent, it will be very difficult for you to perform your duties as a parent. So parents, my fellow parents, let's put up rules that should be adhered to in our families. Let everyone know that you cannot go home past 6 p.m. and lead by example. You cannot be saying that come home by 6 and yourself you're coming home the next tomorrow. Everyone knows you've gone to the office, but you come home the next tomorrow. And you're here, you're telling your kids. You know, kids see. Sorry for that. Something I just entered my eye. Sorry. Oh. Kids are very sharp. They observe. So when you set rules as parents, when you say eating time, no phones, everyone knows when meal or when dinner is ready, when any meal is served, when it's said that dinner is served, lunch is served, breakfast is served. If you don't put ground rules, for example, that everyone should put their phones away, you'll find yourself and your family in chaos. Someone will be eating with one hand and scrolling through social media with the other hand. Someone will be eating their meal and they're talking in the loudest voice that they can be able to, the highest pitch that their voice can be able to reach. And because there is no table manners, you'll find out that when other kids are going home at 5 p.m., your own kids are coming home at 12 in the midnight. You'll find out that when other kids are dressing decently, your kids, when you're in a crowd or you're in a public place, when your child passes by, you close your eyes because everything is out. You start asking God, where will I hide my face? But you fail to understand that as a parent, you did not tell this child that in our family, you can't wear this and this type of clothes, that you have to respect yourself as a woman in this family. You have to respect yourself as a man in this, or as a boy, or as a girl. And there are some boundaries that you cannot go beyond. There are some clothes that as a child from this home, as a child from a Christian home, you cannot be able to wear. Now when other people are so proud to even identify with a child, to tell someone randomly on the street, maybe they are friends, that huyo ni mtoto wangu amepita hapo, ale ndio ule ni mtoto wangu. Yours, you will just be hiding your face. You will be hiding your face so that your child, oh, my camera is not off from what I was doing. You'll be that kind of a parent who you'll be hiding your face in public places because of the type of clothes that your children are even wearing, the way, the demeanor that your children carry around. You find your children are so misbehaved that you wonder how you'll begin telling somebody that this is my child. You find it difficult to positively identify yourself as a parent to a child. But you failed when these children were growing up. You saw them wearing the tumba cuts, I don't know what they call them. You saw your child wearing clothes with their thighs exposed out. You saw them wearing them ani watoto. You saw your child wearing very tight clothes. Ukasema akifika 15 years ndio sasa najua amekuwa msichana mkubwa nitaanza kuongea. No, my sister and my brother, it begins from the foundation. This is a bitter truth. The bitter truth. Let's start from when they are young. Even if their colleagues or their age mates are walking around with clothes that maybe the society considers as improper, let the children know that those kind of clothes cannot be worn by them. Sorry for that. Let them know that even when they're in a place that you cannot be able to see, the clothes that they are going to wear, the way they are going to carry themselves, you'll be proud as a parent. So let's set rules. And you tell them clearly, rules are never to be broken in our family. That we are going to abide by the rules in our family, and no matter where you are in this world. In fact, go to a point of telling them, please pass this down to your own kids. Let's be on this generation that we don't behave this way. And your kids, when they become parents, they will not forget. As you said, people don't forget things they are being told. And when they reach the age that they become parents, they will definitely pass this down to even the generations that are coming. So, parents, let's set rules. Don't tire, don't surrender. Let's start now. Let's start having rules. From the small things that you think are small, let's have rules. Let them know that if I come home past 5 p.m., I should call my parent to inform them where I am. That I cannot get home past this hour. That I cannot wear this kind of clothes. That I cannot behave like this in front of people. That when people are speaking, when older people are speaking, and my opinion is not needed, I should zip it. They should know those boundaries. They should know those rules. And I'm telling you, my fellow parents, you will not go wrong. Start setting those rules now. Don't tire. Set the rules and abide by that rules. Because if you don't set rules, you'll see that your kids are doing homework and they're watching TV. Really, will anything be done? Do you expect these children to really do their homework well? What do you expect? How about you put a rule that the TV will be off until I finish my homework? And if these children know that you have that kind of rules, there is no TV when we are doing homework. Just a minute. Thank you for waiting. If you've set ground rules as simple as you cannot watch TV while doing homework, you cannot watch TV for more than 2 hours in a day. Those are very, very minute ground rules that in our family there's no name calling. Those rules, they might seem as very minute things that can be ignored, but have ground rules. And you'll find out that when it's dinner time, everyone puts their phone away. You as a parent, you should be leading in this. The TVs are switched off, the laptops are switched off, and everyone sits on the table, everyone concentrates. We start with a prayer and we have our meal. That becomes a rule. And when these children, even when you are not home, someone will come and tell you, wow, when we served our food and we wanted to eat, your children said, no, we pray first before we eat. Because this is rules that you as a parent, you set. And your children will not depart from that. Even when they're in a busy place, they're in a public place and they want to eat. Have you seen people even in public places? When food is served, nobody's forcing anybody to pray, but I've seen people who actually go ahead and they pray. Not that they shout praying, just see someone silently praying before they eat their meal. Those are values that were instilled when that particular person was young. And even when they grow up, when they're in their mid 30s, in their mid 20s, in their 40s, they will not depart from it. Set rules now and let's adhere to those rules as families so that our children can be able to emulate it from us. So if we have a systemic rule in place, parenting for us will be very easy. We will not have headaches when we try to explain ourselves because it's clear. Everyone knows. Rules, it binds. A rule binds everyone who is involved. And if we have these systemic rules in our home, and you tell them, if you go against this rule, ensure that you've told them the consequences. Tell them, if you go against this is the consequence. If you fail to do your homework immediately after you come from school, this is the consequence. If you eat your meal and you're on your phone, this is the consequence. And when they go contrary to what you've said, please don't hesitate to do what you said the consequence is going to be. Maybe you said if you come from school and you don't do your homework and you rush out to play, you're not going to play for the next 1 week. And true to your word, when you come home and someone has not attempted to do their homework, they don't go outside to play. If that was a privilege, if there's a privilege that you gave them, maybe every other week you take them to a nice place to do something, let it be clear that if we go against our rules, these rules that we have set as a family, you will lose that opportunity to even go to this nice place that you like going. If they like swimming, tell them if you do this, the consequence will be missing swimming classes. If you don't do this, or if you do this contrary to what I've told you, this is the consequence. And it will be so easy for you as a parent. Even this child knows, if I do this, this is what mom or dad is going to do. And let it be clear. Don't relent. Don't do that today, and then tomorrow, when they do contrary. Hi, Alice. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Thank you. Kindly leave a like done. Thank you so much. I appreciate. Welcome to my live. So, parents, let's put rules, systemic rules in place. Let's give warnings. Tell them if you do anything contrary, I'll give you one warning. And if you repeat it again, did you visit the houses? I'll visit Alice after this live. I will. Yeah, the other two you told me I did the other time when I joined your live. So yes, I do. Thank you so much. Kindly share this live, Alice. I will appreciate. Okay, as I was saying, if your kids know very well that if you do this and I've been given the first warning, the second thing is going to be consequence. I'm telling you, these kids, as I said, these kids are very clever and they really read minds. And if you become today, you put rules in place, but then no consequence, you find out that you get rough time. Teaching these kids, talking to these kids, instilling discipline on these kids, and doing anything surrounding these kids. If you discipline today and you fail to follow with a consequence tomorrow, you'll just be going on a merry-go-round. Nothing serious will be happening, and we'll end up blaming ourselves. Another thing is, let's create time for our children. Let's create time for our kids. In the modern world, now, the one we are living in now, it's very difficult to get time to spend with your kids. True story. As parents, most times you wake up, especially if you're in a place like Nairobi, you wake up as early as 5 a.m. Even before your kids wake up. By 5:30, you are on the road going to the office. In the evening, because of traffic jam and traffic or even work in the office, you come home past 5 p.m. No, because like in Kenya, it's 8 to 5. And because of traffic, parents leave home as early as 5:30 in the morning. And they come back in the evening because by the time it's 5 p.m., traffic has already started to build up on the roads. You reach home past 8 p.m. Kids have already gone to bed. You will find out that you have not created time Not that it is your wish, it's because of the society or the modern world that we are living on, the challenges that we have. You try so much to be home, but the earliest that you can reach home is 7 p.m. You try looking, they have already even taken their dinner, they have even brushed their teeth, they're just relaxing for maybe 30 minutes and they go to bed because the next day they have to wake up early again. And you find out that as a parent, you are not spending time with your kids at all. You find it difficulty. You find a lot of difficulty creating time to even spend with your kids. But it's not your wish. It's because of the society that you are living in currently. You can attest this. This is a challenge that a modern parent is going through. Not that they like the things to go this way, but it's because of what the society has made us go through. But as a parent, I know we don't have the time, but in this parenting in 21st century, let's create time for our children. As you said, there's only little window that we spend with our kids before you realize they already have ideas. They are past 18 years, they already have ideas. It's very small time. The window that we get to spend with our kids is very small. So let's intentionally create time to spend with our kids. Let's not leave parenting to the nannies. You might find out that because of your busy schedule and the businesses that we have to attend to, and even the schools that we have to go to as parents, you find out that you spend very little time with your children. Your children, you don't even know who your children are. Because when children continue growing, that's when you continue getting to learn about your children. But when you don't create that time, you find that years have gone by. Miaka zimepita, miaka zimerudi. You even don't know who your child is. You miss the milestones in your children's life. Maybe you have a small child, you become so busy until one day your nanny tells you, mtoto ametembea, and you're the parent. Your nanny is the one informing you of your child's milestone. Hati mama nani, mtoto ameanza kutembea, mtoto ameanza kuongea. Now a third party is informing you of the important milestones of your children. Unaambiwa siku hizi mtoto anasumbua sana, akona, maybe your child has started to become emotional, and when your nanny calls you and tells you mtoto anasumbua, instead of you as a parent finding out why suddenly your child's behavior is changing, you start punishing that child. That is shortcuts. And we said, as parents of the 21st century, let's not take shortcuts in parenting. Let's create time as parents, because no matter the busy schedules that we have, let's be intentional about parenting. Let's create time to spend with our kids, no matter the time. It can even be meal times. You may become a very intentional parent, and you tell yourself, I will really try my best to have dinner with my kids and my family. So when work closes at whatever time, your next destination that comes to your head is having dinner with your children. And you actually do that. As soon as you come out of the office, Instead of saying, let me go and say hi to a friend, instead of even going home to spend the little time that maybe you've managed to squeeze, you go and spend with friends, talking nothing. There are people who don't believe they can do anything without friends. They think that they must catch up, but never catch up. You are a mother, especially mothers. I don't know fathers, I can't speak of another gender. Let me speak about a mother. You're a mother, instead you have come from the office, the next thing that you should be thinking about is your children. Unless there's something else which is very critical that you have to attend to. But if there's nothing, the next destination after you come from the office, if you want to be an intentional parent, is to rush home and spend with your kids. But if you are the kind of a parent, or you're the kind of a mother who, after coming out of the office, you know all the hotels in your vicinity. Ati leo tupatane wapi? Ati leo tunakunywa coffee wapi? Ati cappuccino. You know all those, so that you look posh. You want to look posh. Ati leo tunakula ice cream wapi? When people are running home, kwenda kuona hata homework, you're busy, you're saying, we'll speak that over, and you're a mother. Imagine, you're going to speak, I'm not condemning, but I'm just saying it. You start saying, we'll speak about that offer coffee, at the offer cappuccino, at the bill is on me. Instead of rushing home, instead of creating time to spend with your kids, as we've said, the 21st parent, because of the challenges that we are facing, because of the limited time that we have to spend with our kids, let's create time. Let's be intentional about creating time. Friendships will come later. There's a time that you will remain. There's a time, even if you go back to our families, you will find out at some stage that now our parents have just remained. Maybe your dad and your mom. Everyone has gone out. But if you are the kind of a person who you are not intentional with parenting, you put a lot of sentimental value on taking coffee at the cappuccino, siju what, with your friends, instead of spending that quality time, the 1 hour with your children. You will realize when it's too late, when your kids are already 18, when you no longer understand. When you no longer understand what is happening in your children's life. So parents, please, let's create time to spend with our children. Let's create time to spend with our children. I'll repeat this over and over again. Any small time that you get out of your busy schedule, please spend this time with your children. Let's not tire. Let's not tire on this journey, because there's no quitting in parenting. You can never quit. Let's not put all that pertains to our children to our nannies. Let's participate as parents. I know you might say, I'm paying my nanny to do these duties, but as a parent, you have a duty to take care of your own kids. You have a duty. A nanny can do so much, but you as a parent, you have a duty. A nanny can be doing something because they have been told to do, but you as a parent, you have a duty, a sacred duty, to even spend time and nurture your own kids. Because if you are not ready, if you feel you're not ready to have kids, there's no need to bring kids to the world, and then instead of dedicating your time to take care of these kids, you decide to do what you want. There's no room of doing what you want at this point. If you're already a parent, if you chose to be a parent, let's work together. Let's walk this journey. As we said, there's no quitting. So, my fellow parents, let's create time. No matter how small this time is, it will really benefit both you as a parent and it will benefit your child more. It will benefit your child more. You can go to a point of even creating special nights. Maybe say every week, maybe on Friday night, you have a movie night with your family and your kids. You have games nights when the time permits, maybe on Saturdays. It depends on the time that you can be able to create as a parent. Create special nights with your children. Create special days with your children when you get to spend time. The days that you know that you're not going to go to the office, create special moments. These moments are going to last a lifetime. These times that you are creating with your children, the small times that you've put aside to spend with your kids, it's going to last for a lifetime and you are not going to regret it. You are going to look back and you say, I made the best out of parenthood. And as we said, there's no manual. So you cannot ban or cannot beat yourself up that you're not doing what so and so is doing. Everyone is different. Every household is different. Chart your own manual. Chart your own rules as a parent. Don't feel that person A is doing this, our home they are not doing. No. Chart your own manual starting today. Create special moments with your children. Game nights, movie nights, play dates with the children. Have breakfast even on the garden or anything. It will go along. You might not see it now, but in the future, you will look back and you'll say that I tried my best and I thank God that He gave you the strength to muddle through these things as parents. Another thing is for a parent, for us to navigate in the 21st century, let's create time to be with our kids when they need us. You know, there are some points that our kids hold so dear. There are days that their parents, I'm giving examples like Parents' Day, like birthdays, like what do you call dedication days in for our kids, like graduations, like even sporting events. You find out in schools there are sporting events. There's Parents' Days, visiting in during our times when we were young. We used to have Parents' Days, visiting days. They used to be called visiting days. I hope you remember those days. Who remembers those days? As a parent, be available when your children need you. And for you, it might not be important. If you're once in school or you are a child, because all of us are children, you can remember in your head the day maybe your parent missed coming to visiting day, as we used to call them back in the days. Sisi watu wa jana. Watu wa jana tulikuwa tunaita visiting days. If you are my age, you can remember those visiting days. The days your parents came. I can vividly remember for all the visiting days that my parents came and the way I felt when you're just in class and you're called that your parent that umeitwa, and then wow, when you because there were no phones that time, it was just like a surprise. You're called, Priska, umeitwa. You go, wow, you see your mom, you see maybe your dad. There was that feeling that you would feel as a child that nothing can compare with it. I cannot compare that feeling to anything. But when there was visiting days in school and when other people are having their parents in school, your parents are there for you. When you are graduating, you remember when you're graduating in school, nowadays even kids in is it PP1? PP1, PP1, PP2. After PP2, children graduate. Imagine your child is graduating and you're busy somewhere saying that you're doing something. Can that thing hold for that day? As long as nobody is dying, all other things can be put aside and you be there for your kids. Be there when your kids need you the most. When it's your child's birthday, be intentional. Do something, no matter how small it is. Even if you're going to buy a cake for 100 shillings. Nowadays, things are very modernized. You can go to this cake, wherever, cake palace or I don't know what, bakeries, and even you tell them, I want a cake for 150 shillings. Bring that cake, put a candle on top of that cake, and you celebrate your child's birthday. And you buy sweets for 20 shillings. Maybe you have 3 kids, buy sweets for 30 shillings, and you buy biscuits for 20. You have not even spent 500 shillings. And because you have done it with so much love, not that because you lack money or you have money, but your children see that you're remembering their birthdays, you're there when they need you, you're there when they're graduating, no matter even if it's PP2, you're there when they're graduating. You might think hii ni kitu ya watoto wadogo, wacha mama aende. Most times that's what happens. I remember in school they used to give first priority to men. Even when you go to nowadays, when you go to prenatal clinics, everyone is seated. For example, the doctor comes at 10. So people go early, they sit, they wait for the doc to come. Nowadays, for the hospitals that I used to go for prenatal, they would say, anyone who came with their husband will be the first people to be attended to. You see? And it was, I don't know how how you interpret it, it will be okay. So don't put this burden or don't put this responsibility on one parent. There's happiness which comes in when both parents, if the parents are all there. I know there are sometimes when another parent is not there, but when both parents are available, please make time to attend to your children's special days. It will go a long way. For us parents, we might not take it as something which is very important, but for our children, it's something that they will not forget in a hurry. So let's be there for our kids' special days. Don't forget birthdays. Don't forget graduation days. Even sporting activities in school. As I said, don't be that kind of, maybe mostly it's men who say, wacha mama aende. When the teacher calls to say, I was just calling to let you know that we are going to have such a sporting activity in school, and we are expecting parents to attend. Most men will be quick to say, mama atakuja. Let's not leave this responsibility to mothers. And if it's birthdays, it's mothers. It's visiting days, it's mothers. Even fathers. Let's even join our partners. Let's join hands in being together in all those days that our children need us. But in circumstances that's one parent, please make an attempt to attend to those days that your children call special days. The days that you know that your children feel are very important days. Let's be there for our children. Remember saying let's schedule fun activities with our children. That we have touched on that, and we know fun activities. The fun activities that our children term as fun activities, for us parents, we might not even consider it as fun activities. But if you know the fun activities that our children like, let's participate. Even if it's minute as making popcorn, that's something which can take 20 minutes. Participate. Call your children. Tell them, today we are going to make popcorn. Go ahead. Don't tell them nisione mtu jikoni, but rather tell them kujeni tupike nini, popcorn. Let's make popcorn as a family, and you prepare popcorn with your kids, and you see that things are going on so well. If you see that your children have an interest in maybe things like baking, you participate in baking, you go for sporting activities, small things that you might not consider as very big things. But at the end of the day, you'll realize that your children really appreciate. Another thing is be a role model. Do you know what is being a role model? It's being that someone that can be looked up. Your parent can look, your child can look. We said, sorry for that small interruption. We said, be a role model to your children. As we know, children are very good in imitating, and anything that they see you doing, they will definitely do as you. What our children will see us doing is what they will exactly do. So parents, let's be role models to our children. Let's act, let's, whatever we preach to our children, whatever we tell our children, let's do it. Let's do the things that we want our children to do. If you know there's something that you will not want a child to do, don't do it. Don't do it yourself. As parents, we should really practice what we preach. You cannot expect to behave in a different way and you expect your child to behave in a different manner. Children are very fast in copying what we parents tend to do. And as a 21st century parent, let's be role models to our children. Let's behave in the exact manner that we want our children to do. Let's not be doing things contrary and then we expect our children to do the contrary. Just a moment, just a moment, just a moment, just a second. Let us as parents consistently remember that we are being watched by our children. Our children are watching every step that we are making. The wind is. Let's know that every step that we are making as parents, our children are watching. I don't know at what point my mic went off. Oh God, I hope I did not go for a long time. I wish someone would have alerted me on the chat that my mic is off. Oh, I can't even tell from what point I was off. But then we're saying let's have realistic expectations. Let's have realistic expectations with our children. Let's not say you should do this. Let's be real. As I said, there are some things that a 5-year-old can be able to do. There are things that a 15-year-old can be able to do. There are some things that our children cannot be able to do. Let's be realistic on what we expect from these children. You might find out that we have put our expectations so high. In our heads, we've told our children, you should be number one in class without assessing the capability of this child. Tell your child you should be able to work, to read and finish this book this week. And this is a child that needs to play, they need to create time to even take care of themselves. You give very unrealistic expectations to your children. And at the end of the day, you become frustrated because something which is unrealistic means that that thing cannot be achieved. It means that particular thing cannot be achieved. How about we become realistic type of parents? Let's ditch using the word should. And maybe we adopt a less demanding or putting conditions in the things that we want. We should not be telling our children, you should do this. You put conditions in everything. As a parent in the 21st century, let's make our expectations to be realistic so that we don't get frustrated. That my kid should be reading by the time they're 2 years. You see, there's those kinds of expectations. That my kid should be fluent in writing by the time they're 3 years. And this is unrealistic. As we said, even from the time a child is born, you don't expect a child who has been born to eat ugali. You don't expect a child who has been born to start running. Everything, you become realistic with even age on the things that these children can be able to do. If we become realistic and stop being unrealistic on our expectation, we will be able to navigate our parenting in the year 2023 and beyond. Another thing as parents that can really assist us is to be changing, maybe if possible, to change the environment if need be. Change your child's environment if need be. You might find out that the environment that your child is growing up in is really giving him a lot of bad influences. And as our children grow, they start getting a lot of influence from their peers. So as parents, if you realize that the environment that you are in, if it's possible, some things, if they are not possible, we let it go. But if it's possible as a parent, if you feel that the environment that your child is, if the school that your child is starting in, the school that you have enrolled your child in, you notice that there's a very big problem when you see your child's behavior. You notice small things are happening. How about you change this child's environment when you still have the time? If you notice that where you're staying, and maybe you can move, don't be rigid. Change the environment if need be. It will really assist you as a parent. Don't be rigid, because even something as small as changing the environment that your child is in can really assist you in this parenting journey. You know, small children, they look up on their parents so much. But as they grow, when they reach teenagehood, now their role models change. Most of them change their role models and they listen more to what their friends are telling them. They listen more to what their peers are telling them, more than what you parent is telling your child. So let's be sensitive to this. And if need be, as I said, we can be able to change the environment or we change our parenting styles as years go by. Change the parenting, be flexible, change your environment, change your parenting styles gradually. You know, there's a way that you can be able to speak to a child who is a teen, and even there's a way that you can speak to a child who is small. There's a very big difference. So as parents, let's will let's be willing to change gradually as years go by. Another thing as parents, show your kids that love is unconditional. That the love that you hold as a family, the love that you have for your children, let your children know that the love that you have for them is unconditional and there's nothing that can come between you or nothing can come between the love that your parent has and yourself. Nothing, no matter what is happening, no matter what the child has done. If something happens, let your children know that this thing will be corrected and you move on. That the love that is in your family is unconditional. It's not pegged on conditions. It's not pegged on your performance in school. It's not pegged on what your the activities that you do at home. So learn to be correcting your children. Learn to connect to guide your children in a way that the love that you have for them does not change. So let's not pin the love that we have for our children on conditions. Let our children know that the love that you share as a family is conditional and that nothing is going to come between you and your parent. That nothing is going to change the love that your parent has for you. And when you're correcting your child, stop blaming. Avoid completely. Don't tell your child that if you had not done this and this would not have happened. If you had not failed in school, I would not be in a bad mood. Avoid blaming your children. There is a way that you can correct someone without blaming them. That I would have bought a car, but because I've taken you to school, now I don't even have a car. That's blaming. Let's ditch blaming our children. Let's stop criticizing our children. Wewe ni mkubwa hivi, but there's nothing that you can show of your age. Ati miaka zako zimeenda sana, but there's nothing that you can show. That is criticizing. Even if that child have done anything that you don't like, you don't need to criticize that child. Because when you're doing this without your knowledge, you're hurting what we call the self-esteem of the. You remember the what do you call the self-esteem of your child? You remember the self-esteem that of your child? You might be doing something out of love, but without your knowledge, you're criticizing the child and you're hurting their self-esteem. So let's correct our children in a correct way, in a manner that they know you're being considerate and you're going to go far. Instead of blaming, criticizing, condemning, that nothing good will ever come from me. It's so wrong as a parent. For 21st parent, that's not the parenting style that we are going to adopt. Another thing is for us parents to realize our strengths and our weaknesses. You as a parent, you know the strengths and the weaknesses that you have. Everybody has one. So as a parent, let's build on our strengths. Let's build on the strengths that we have as a parent. And for the weaknesses that we have as a parent, let's work on those weaknesses. Let's not make those weaknesses take a better part of us and eventually bringing a lot of problems between us and our children, because these weaknesses are things that can be worked on. If you have identified, if you have identified your weaknesses, you can actually go ahead and work on those weaknesses. And for the strengths, you build on the strengths. Work on it. If you have a good, if someone who can good in guiding, you are good in giving what do we call advice to your children, build on that. If you're good in that, build on that. If you realize that you have ulimi ile rahisi kuteleza, maybe you tone down, you work on that. You try to cultivate ways that you can be able to speak blessings. If you're quick to speak in curses, work on that weakness and learn to restrain yourself. And even instead of throwing a word that is going to hurt that your child, how about to speak a blessing? You correct them with love, and it's going to go a long way. And as parents, we know, realistically speaking, we cannot focus on all the areas of our children's lives. We try so much, but realistically, we know we cannot be able to. So rather than trying to be all over the place, sorry, how about we focus on the things that are very important? Let's focus on the things that are very important rather than addressing all the issues at the same time. Umefanya hii, umefanya hii, umefanya hii. There are some small things that you can overlook as a parent. Let's focus on the things that are important. We cannot be able to focus on everything at the same time. At every point of your child's growth, let's focus on the important things. And it won't hurt you if you overlook some of the things at some point. Another thing that it's important for a 21st parent is to assist your child to be independent. Let your child learn to do the small, small things that they can be able to do according to their strength at that point, according to their ability at that time. Let's assist our children to be independent, because the society that we are in right now, it's not easy. Let your children learn to be independent from as early as possible. Let them learn to do small, small things according to their abilities. Start small. Tell them to even brush their teeth as you are monitoring. Tell them to tie their shoelaces. Tell them in the evening when you come from school, brush your shoe. I know they will not do it perfectly in the beginning, but then they will know that after school you have to clean your shoe. Tell them, give them responsibilities like after eating, clear the table, take your plate to the sink. You can, if the child is able, you can even tell them to clean their plate. But if they cannot be able, don't force. But our parents, let's assist our children to be independent, because the world that we are in right now, it really calls for independence on the part of our children. Kindly leave a thumbs up. I will really appreciate. And as parents, if our child accomplishes something, no matter how small it is, let's appreciate them. Let's appreciate anything that they try to do, even the small things. Even the small things, the things that you might say hiyo ni kidogo, but let's really appreciate them for. I think I've spoken about this. Let's appreciate every small thing that our children do. It will go a long way. You might not see it as very important, but it goes a long way. You might realize it. You might be doing it without knowing, but then you see the fruits later, and you say to yourself, "I did something good." Let's appreciate each accomplishment. If they manage to price their shoes, congratulate them. If they manage to do one or two things, congratulate them. If they manage to straighten their beds, I know it will not be as good as you wanted, but if they have shown an effort of even making their beds, appreciate them for that. Congratulate them for the small things they've tried to do. And eventually, the small things that we are encouraging them, we are congratulating them. One day it's going to bear fruits, and one day your child, as young as you think they are, they will be able to make their beds. They'll be able to brush their shoe and even shine their shoe. They're going to remove the utensils from the table and they're even going to clean it, wipe it, and even dust everywhere. They're even going to mop the. And you think these children are very young. They are not. You might think they're young, but as long as their ability, you can be able to actually, as a parent, assess the abilities of your children. And if you see that they can be able to do this kind of a thing, capitalize on that, build on that, and encourage them all the way. Kindly leave a chat if you're online, and I would really appreciate. As we said, all the things that we impart on our children, even at the age that we say it's an early age, the, the, the times that we say that huyu mtoto bado ni mdogo ataelewi, you might be shocked. These children know a lot. These children know a lot, and by the time, if you don't take the time to study them, you might be wasting children who their abilities would have allowed them to do bigger things. So let's work on improving. Let's work on gaining their independence, so that when they even go to school and they go to high school, they can be able to do small things for themselves. As parents, this is now like a takeaway. Let's put this as something that we should be following through. Let's endeavor to talk to a child every other day. If you're far, you're walking away from where your child is, make a point of calling your children. Make it an habit that your children know that you must speak with I must speak with my parent every other day. Let that be instilled in them. Make it your mantra to be talking to your child every day, and it will go a long way. It will go a long way. We are closing our life. You remember the verse that we spoke about when we started this live? Do you still remember what we spoke about? I'm going just to repeat it so that we close our life with that. Before we close it with that, what I can, as a takeaway, my fellow parents, there's a lot of challenges that are facing us parents in the 21st century. Let's be real about it. There's a lot of challenges that are going on in our lives. And as parents, let's endeavor to do everything possible under the sun to be there for our children. And as we learned that children are a gift from God, we have been given the responsibility as parents to take care of these kids on behalf of God. God has given us the authority. He has given us, it's like a gift. It's a gift from God. And if someone gives you a gift and that tells you to take care of it, you are going you are going to do anything possible Parents, as we said, God has given us responsibility as parents to take care of our kids. Let's perform that sole responsibility. Let's give all it takes to be there for our children. And as you said, there's no manual. There's no one person that knows all about parenting, but we get to learn along the way. We get to learn from each other. If there's something that you see that can assist another parent to become a better parent, don't hesitate to share with that parent. Because when our children excel in whatever they are doing, if they grow up to be responsible adults, we the society that we are living in is going to be a better place for every one of us. So let's be there for each other as parents. And if you notice something is not going on well, hoping the other parent will not take it wrongly, let's learn to speak it out to our fellow parents. Let's not hesitate to inform our parents or our fellow parents on things that they can be able to change in their, they can be able to pass to their kids. Because some people who maybe as a parent you may not be seeing something in a certain way, but there are people who can be able to see it in another way. Let's be open to ideas from other people as long as it's meant to build, not to destroy. Let's learn from each other. Let's not tire in this journey, because we said being a parent starts from when you conceive a child and until your last day on this earth. Even if you are 100 days, as long as you are a parent, you'll continue being a parent. Let's be there for our kids. Let's not tire. Let's do this parenting intentionally. Let's be intentional. Let's be there for our kids. Let's pray for our kids above everything else, because prayer transcends everything. Let's pray for these kids. Let's remember them in prayers. Let's put them before God, and everything will be going to be great at the end of the day. If you have other suggestions that fellow parents can learn from, don't hesitate to share in the comment section, and we learn together as parents, because we said we are in this together and we are going to do this with God's guidance. Let's close with the verse that we read today, and internalize the Proverbs 22 verse 6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs, you can read this maybe later and go through it. Proverbs 22 verse 6. I'll repeat. Train up a child in the way he should go. Because as when they are born, maybe they don't know how to go about some things. Train them. Even when the child is old, he will not depart from it. Hope that one was clear and you've been able to learn something today. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate each and everyone who tuned in on this live stream. As I usually say, it's not like it was forced, but it was out of love that you decided to join this live. I appreciate the time that you've taken to listen to me on this live, by supporting this live stream, by even leaving a chat, leaving a like, and God is going to bless you. God is going to guide us as parents. God is going to give us the strength to navigate this 21st century parenthood. And at the end of the day, we are going to perform better than we perform today. We are going to be better parents from today, and we are going to exhibit the best examples to our children. We are going to be the best role models to our children, and we are going to put our children first. May God see us through. May God give us strength, and we are going to do this. We are going to perform better as parents. See you on our next live. God bless you. Have a blessed evening. See you on our next live. Bye.